star witness. Gone. You thought high-profile trials were predictable? Think again. Diddy's star witness has vanished. From the moment you heard that bombshell, you knew Diddy's sex trafficking trial was about to spin out of control. Federal prosecutors are scrambling, jurors are getting the weekend jitters, and even the phrase freakoff has taken on a whole new meaning. Today we're peeling back every layer, from missing victims and backup jurors to cell phone videos cleaned up by CNN experts. So grab your coffee, or your popcorn, because this trial is drop-dead serious, and the chaos has only just begun. First, let's set the scene. Federal court in Manhattan, where the government's explosive indictment against Sean Diddy Combs alleges everything from racketeering to sex trafficking and transporting victims across state lines. Opening statements, originally scheduled for May 9th, have been postponed until Monday, May 12th, just enough time for nerves to fray and rumors to swirl. The headline grabber? Victim number 3, one of the prosecution's star witnesses, has vanished. Gone without a forwarding address, uncontactable by her lawyer, and possibly even cowed by threats or bribes. Was there a payoff? Did fixers with deep pockets swoop in and silence her? Or is she just terrified of facing the man once crowned the king of bad boy records? We don't know, yet. But what we do know is that her absence has thrown the entire case into disarray. With the clock ticking toward opening statements, prosecutors admit they can't find her, and defense attorneys are calling foul. Meanwhile, every news outlet in America is shouting about the mystery woman who holds the power to derail the trial before it even starts. The whole world is watching, popcorn in hand, as Washington's finest strategize on how to keep their high-stakes case afloat. Jury selection circus. It all kicked off when the judge stunned the courtroom with a weekend-locking gambit. Nobody leaves the jury pool before peremptory strikes start Monday morning. What began with 45 hopeful jurors has dwindled to 43, and your average juror is sweating the thought of dropping out before Monday's rapid-fire dismissals. 2 were struck for cause, one because she was a former domestic violence intern who bluntly confessed she didn't want to be part of this circus, and another who omitted an active lawsuit against the city of New York from her questionnaire. Now, picture yourself trapped in that hushed hallway, clutching your coffee cup and listening as names vanish like cards in a magician's deck. With each strike, tension ratchets higher. The judge, keen to avoid any weekend second-guessing or social media mischief, decreed that all peremptory challenges must happen in a blistering half-hour window starting at 9 a.m. on Monday. 12 jurors will be seated, 6 alternates chosen, and, surprise, 3 extra backup jurors tagged in reserve. Nobody knows exactly what a backup juror is supposed to do differently from an alternate, but the court's message is clear: no surprises, no last-minute bailouts. The stakes couldn't be higher. Jurors are under gag orders, phones locked away, and the slightest hint of bias or chatter could get someone tossed. Every whispered rumor and every stray glance carries consequences. And as these new rules rippled through the legal community, everyone started asking, is this extreme caution or mere paranoia? After all, this is one of the most polarizing cases in recent memory, with millions of dollars, years of reputation, and possibly a life sentence hanging in the balance. If Diddy's team smelled blood, they could challenge each juror to the brink. If prosecutors sense hesitation, they could accuse the defense of harassment. It's a high-wire act. The first to stumble might just tip the scales of justice. And just when you thought you'd seen it all, the judge drops another bomb: 3 backup jurors. 12 seated, 6 alternates. That's par for the course. But an extra trio of backups? It's like Diddy's backup singers have morphed into backup jurors, ready for a surprise cameo at a moment's notice. Court insiders are buzzing. What exactly is a backup juror? Do they sit next to the alternates? Do they get special lanyards or color-coded badges? Nobody's quite sure. All we know is that if someone drops mid-deliberation, due to illness, conflict, or, heaven forbid, jury tampering, one of these mystery backups could waltz in and reset everything. Imagine the scene. 2 days into witness testimony, arguments have been made, evidence examined, and just as jurors prepare to deliberate, one falls ill. Boom! Backup juror number 1 steps up, and they start from zero. It's a logistical headache, but the court's playing it safe. This is one of the most controversial trials in recent memory. And the real twist? We finally get a crash course in what prosecutors call freakoffs, not carnival sideshows, but drug-fueled, no-holds-barred parties allegedly hosted by Combs in luxury homes and hotels. Dozens of women and men flown in, lavish gifts, illicit substances, and all the makings of a modern-day debauch. The prosecution's theory: these weren't harmless soirees but clandestine sex trafficking enterprises, with Combs and his associates pocketing millions. Defense lawyers scoff at the term freakoff, calling it media spin. But jurors? They'll hear lurid descriptions, possibly view photographs, and meet witnesses who paint a surreal, hedonistic world in which Combs is both ringmaster and profiteer. It's sensational by design, and it makes the backup juror gambit look positively quaint. Next up, evidence. Prosecutors have their piece de resistance: 2 cell phone videos from inside the Intercontinental Hotel suite and 3 cleaned and clarified CNN clips, all enhanced by government experts. Word in legal circles is that original tapes went missing from CNN's archives, forcing the FBI to source alternate copies and painstakingly restore audio and video quality. The result? Crystal clear footage of Combs interacting with alleged victims, private conversations caught on camera, and moments of coercion that prosecutors say prove their racketeering case. But defense is already sharpening its pencils. They'll challenge chain of custody. Who handled the tapes? Were they properly sealed? Did enhancement cross over into manipulation? Expect a full-blown evidentiary hearing, perhaps more dramatic than a Hollywood heist movie, complete with dueling experts and heated objections. On the one side, a government forensics specialist in a crisp lab coat explaining how every pixel and decibel has been authenticated. On the other, a defense expert with a backdrop of editing software, intoning, "Your Honor, you can't trust this. We don't even know where the original source went." Jurors will be riveted. And while the edits themselves are crucial, the battle over whether jurors can even see the tapes by Monday's opening statements is just as compelling. Will the judge greenlight their immediate admission, or rule that the defense gets more time to scrutinize? Whatever happens, the courtroom will feel like a live-action streaming event, complete with real-time votes on key pieces of evidence. Now let's talk about day one's lineup, because it's bound to open with a bang. First in the hot seat, a male escort. Yes, you heard that right. Nothing says sexy scandal like escort testimony before you've even finished your morning bagel. Prosecutors plan to call him early to establish the pattern. Combs allegedly paid for companionship, funneled him to private gatherings where sex and drugs flowed freely, and treated him as a star witness against a star. The defense, however, struck a deal. They won't cross-examine him on past allegations, no probing into his own legal troubles or lifestyle choices. That concession hints at the prosecution's confidence. They want the escort to stick to the script and avoid derailment by character attacks. Next up is witness number 2, unnamed and under strict topic limitations. The court has sealed her identity, allowing only specific questions about her interactions with Combs. What horrors will she relay? Late-night rendezvous, explicit invitations, hush-money negotiations? And why the strict boundaries? It suggests sensitive details, maybe medical reports or private messages, are at play. Then, after lunch, the prosecution hopes to introduce their star female witness, Cassie Ventura, pregnant and prepared to testify under her real name. It's a deliberate crescendo: start with shock value, dig deeper with secrecy and speculation, and end with an emotional, real-life drama that jurors can't ignore. But the real showstopper arrives Wednesday. Cassie Ventura, very pregnant and poised to walk into the courtroom like a Stepford's meets Bad Boy saga. Picture it. The jury sees her swollen belly, hears her voice wavering as she describes the infamous hotel hallway beating. Yes, the one Combs himself acknowledged on social media before deleting the post. Her admission of remorse, her tearful apology, the context of her relationship with Combs, all laid bare in stark contrast to the glamorous pop star image. Defense counsel won't probe her medical exam details. Thanks to a side deal, They agree not to question certain treatments she received after the alleged assault. But which parts of her records are off limits? The court's protective order hints at sensitive medical information, perhaps details about injuries that would further condemn Combs. In essence, they black-box the most damning evidence to expedite her appearance before the trial spirals beyond control. Jurors will weigh her credibility, a married mother to be stepping forward to testify about a traumatic event, versus the defense's portrayal of her as a willing participant in freakoff parties. That contrast is electric. Will she hold up under grilling? Or will her vulnerability, pregnancy, emotional distress, shield her from the worst of cross-examination? Either way, her testimony is a pivotal moment, one that could set the tone for every witness to follow. No belt on his oversized, prison-issue pants, because inmates can have belts, and every sartorial choice screams inmate chic. He walks in at 8:30 a.m., waves to the gallery, then turns to the press for another subtle salute. His cousin, decked out in a free puffy sweatshirt turned inside out by court order, sits close by. He nods to Tenny Gallegos, daughter of mega lawyer Mark Gallegos, absent due to a Menendez hearing in L.A., then plops down in an unusual spot next to her. Every gesture is calculated. The oversized sweater suggests vulnerability, the crisp shirt implies respect for the court, and the handshake with Brian Steele, one fist bump. One handshake, signals solidarity. Lawyers say these small acts can sway jurors' perceptions, humanizing a high-profile defendant. And let's not overlook the oversized pants. Without a belt, Combs has to subtly hold them up, drawing attention to his status as a defendant in custody. It's reality TV meets real-life courtroom drama. Jurors will notice his calm demeanor, his casual smiles, the way he interacts with family. Is he cocky? Or just confident in his legal team's strategy? Every move is fodder for post-hearing analysis and late-night talk shows alike. Yet the biggest roller coaster is reserved for victim number 3. 1 week ago, prosecutors told the judge she'd testify under her real name. Now, completely MIA, along with her attorney. Lead prosecutor Maureen Comey admitted to Judge Subramanian that we can't find her, and she may not appear even if subpoenaed. Cue the conspiracy theories. Was there a payoff? Did fixers swoop in to silence her? Witness Jonathan Audi from the Secret Service Revelations was once touted as a star witness. Rumors say he's resurfaced to fill the void. Is he the mysterious Israeli guardian Combs' allies allegedly brought in to protect him? Or just another smoke screen? Defense counsel Tony Gallegos demanded a firm answer by Friday. Either victim number 3 will testify, or she's off the docket. But the very act of talking about her absence keeps her in every juror's mind, like Chekhov's gun, unloaded but ominous. She's the ghost in the courtroom, a missing piece whose presence, or lack thereof, looms over every argument. Prosecutors hope to salvage her testimony by offering remote appearance or video link, but defense argues that such measures violate confrontation rights. The judge must decide, push on without her, risk a defense motion for dismissal, or grant an emergency continuance. It's a high-stakes stalemate that could define the trial's trajectory. Still, prosecutors insist the case remains solid. In April, they filed a third superseding indictment, adding transportation to engage in prostitution counts tied to victim number 3's alleged exploitation. Now Combs faces 5 counts: racketeering, sex trafficking, transportation for prostitution, all linked to 4 alleged victims at drug-fueled freak-off parties. The strategy? Overwhelm the defense with an avalanche of charges and witnesses so that even if one domino falls, a dozen more stand ready. They've already added victim number 5, another key figure with potentially explosive testimony. And while the loss of victim number 3 is a setback, prosecutors argue that racketeering acts, unlicensed firearms, extortion, witness tampering, can carry the day. By weaving together a pattern of criminal enterprise, they aim to show Combs orchestrated a multi-million-dollar sex trafficking network, not just isolated incidents. It's a multi-part mosaic: witness statements, financial records, luxury travel logs, social media posts, and undercover recordings, all pieces of a puzzle that prosecutors believe will convince a jury beyond a reasonable doubt. Defense cries overreach, accusing the government of turning legitimate business and personal relationships into criminal deeds. But with every new victim, every new exhibit, and every new count, the administration of justice moves forward, undeterred by missing witnesses or high-profile defense tactics. As we wrap up today's deep dive, remember this: in the fractured world of fame, nothing is flawless. From missing witnesses and canned CNN footage to pregnant ex-girlfriends and juror gymnastics, this trial is a high-stakes soap opera playing out under the harshest spotlight. Will victim number 3 make a Perry Mason-style entrance through the back doors? Will newly restored video footage blow the roof off the courtroom? And can Diddy's defense team manage the narrative long enough to get to closing arguments? These questions will keep us glued to the proceedings, hungry for every twist. Hit subscribe, ring that bell, and drop your theories in the comments, because when fame cracks, culture reacts. And you won't want to miss a single twist in this drop-dead serious saga.